Alright, everybody, welcome to the first episode, I guess, of my first kind of series, at least on programming. I'm just going to show you guys some simple scripts and tips and tricks, I guess, that I wish I knew when I first started Unity. And hopefully, this little script I'm about to write is just a few lines of code you can make your first game with, and I'd love to see them when you're done. So I'm going to try and keep this really short, so let's dive in. This is part of the standard Unity assets. You just go to the asset store here, search standard assets, and it'll be the very first one. So you're gonna import the sample scenes and standard assets. Go sample scenes, and I'm gonna be doing the character first person. As you can see, I already kind of changed the texture here. If you want to do that too, it's just materials here, and you can pick whatever one you want. I think I did the orange smooth one here. Yeah. uh, just because I'm going to be creating some other objects, I don't want to be confusing. So, real quick, over here, we're going to left click, we're going to make cube, okay? Oh, first off, I just want to show you what this looks like. So, it should be able to use WSAD, move the mouse to move. You can walk up here, see my phone cube, and yeah, so it should work like that. If not, try importing it again. It really should be fine. I'm using 2017 uh, 2017.2.0 F3. So that's my version, and it should work for you too. So I'm going to bring this cube to the top of the ramp here. And oh, by the way, I'm using shortcuts for the transforms. So if you want to just click up here, that moves things, this rotates things, and this scales things. W to move, E to rotate, and then R to make things bigger and smaller. As simple as I can put it. So we're going to turn off the mesh render, make it like an invisible wall, and a trigger. Now it's an invisible wall that we can walk through. Okay. And also, before I dive into the script, make sure your character right here, rigid body FPS controller, is set to player. It's probably untagged, so make sure that's player. That's super important. So now I'm going to rename this to trigger, not trugger. That's awkward. Trigger. We're going to go ahead and save, and let's get this rolling. So I'm gonna go ahead and, oh, I already wrote it. Well, guess what? I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna delete it so you can watch me write. Because just seeing it and me going over it isn't as fun. So right here is just called hide activate object. That's all we're gonna be doing is just hiding things and activating them whenever we hit triggers, whatever you want to happen. So if you want to keep it super simple, this is as simple as I can do it. If you just want to keep it like this, okay? We're going to go ahead and delete these. We're going to make a public game object, and we're going to call it my object. Now this next function, I'm going to write needs to be exactly how I'm putting it. On trigger, enter, entity, enter, and then it has to be a collider. You can call this right here whatever you want. I like entity because I think it sounds cool. So on trigger, enter, collider, entity. We're going to check. We're going to, come on. We're going to check the entity's tag, which is why we changed the tag on the player to player earlier, and make sure it's spelled exactly the same with the capital P in everything. And same with the function, capital O, capital T, capital E. And we're just going to say, we're going to check first if our object is active or not in the hierarchy. So my object, dot active in hierarchy. So what that statement says is if my object is active in the hierarchy, then we want to turn it off. We don't want that. We don't want that in our scene. So that's going to be false. But if it isn't active, then we want to go ahead and turn that on. We want that in our scene. We want to see that. We want to see that, right? Who doesn't want to see this beautiful cube I'm about to show you? So go ahead and save that. This will pop up over here. Let's make a cube again. I'm going to drag this down. I don't want that to be a child. Okay, we're just going to call this stupid wall. Of course, okay, like I'm programming it. Anyway, so now we're going to click on our trigger again. We're going to take our stupid wall, put it in my object. And now you should see this working actually already. Walk up here. And it turns off. When we go through the trigger, it turns on. But I know I don't want to be in a game where I'm just walking around and stuff is turning on and off and you don't even know why it's happening. So I'm going to make a little entrance for these things. So I'm going to make 2 cubes on the side. Let's make a fun little particle system. We don't need it to have a speed or a 3D start size. Let's have a little bit of fun. I know I'm moving really fast, but um, so we'll do that. We'll have a little bit of velocity going downwards. Wait, I want to see downwards. And oh yeah, the shape. Want it to be a box. And we're just gonna make this a little bit bigger. So now, go ahead and change this color too, because you can't really see that in the game. Okay. And we'll change these colors too to like pink, because pink is awesome. So now, if you had all these all over your world and the player kept walking through them, they're gonna know stuff is going on. So, okay, so now I can see when I walk through these. Okay, so now it's making sense to me. And now if I do it that way, I solve the puzzle and I can continue through. And one last thing I wanted to show you with the on trigger enter is how to do multiple objects. So this is a lot of fun. Oops, backwards. That was dumb. So basically what I did is made an array. Okay? And this is all our hard work right here is going to be changed into a for each statement. We're going to be looking for game objects. We're just going to call it my stuff in my object. Right here, we'll call it walls, since that's what we'll do even better. We'll call it stupid walls. So we're going to be looking for all the stupid walls in my object here. And for each one, so this is going to run for every single object I have. And let's say I'm going to have 3. It'll make sense in a minute. So basically, if we have to check if our stupid wall is active or not. If it's active, then we're going to go ahead and turn that off because we don't want it, remember? So get that out of here. Fantastic. Else, if it's not, then we want that stupid wall. It's not that stupid to us. We like this wall. We want that wall to be our friend. So we're going to want that wall to be there. This is going to do the same thing I had as before, except now we can do it to however many objects you want. So let's say I have this, well, it's not going to be a wall anymore. I guess it'll be like a platform. But I'm just going to put it down like this. We'll make another stupid wall. It's kind of turning into a stupid floor, but that's okay. So you can make it a little more perfect if you want. And then we had to jump across. We'll just pretend this floor isn't here right here because I can't turn it off because it's all part of the same object. So yeah, we'll go to our trigger, which has our script on it, and you see it created this right here. And a fun little thing to do, hit that little lock up here. Now we can hit all our stupid walls and just drag them over. And now we have all 3 of them here. So now you'll see this working just like before, but we're doing it to 3 objects instead of just 1. And they all turn off. Now this is where it gets pretty fun. If you're not having fun already. Let's turn, oh, not, what? Okay. Yeah. Oh, because it's locked. Remember to turn your lock off, otherwise you're selecting things over here, you won't be on the right thing. So we'll turn that off. And now it's still gonna work, but now that one object will turn on while the other ones turn off. Right? So that one's there now. Walk back through, and now it's gone, and these 2 are here. So you could probably make a pretty cool obstacle, some puzzles that the player has to figure out to do these things. And one last thing to make it a little bit tricky is there are 2 other functions that do the same thing. So we have on trigger stay collider, call it entity because it's a cool word. And then there's also void on trigger exit. And again, you're going to be looking for a collider, and we'll call it entity. So basically, you don't have to follow along with this part because it might be confusing. I'm going to comment this out so that code does not run. And we'll say if tag is player. We'll just change this to a normal game object again. My object dot set active. We'll just turn it off. And then when I exit, we want to turn it on. And that's not ready because I need to check if the player has entered, of course. Whoops, not that far down. And I'm keeping my code nice and separated for you guys so it's a little easier to read. So this is going to do the same exact thing that I had working the very first time. Same exact thing. Except I forgot to put it in up here. So we'll just do this stupid wall right here, that ramp. Right? So I'm staying in it, and I know it's going to look exactly the same as before. When I leave, it turns on. Stay in it, it turns off. When I leave, it turns on. And you can see it working a little bit better. I'm just going to go ahead and delete this because I don't want to use these. So now, when I go up there and enter the trigger, or stay in the trigger, it'll turn off and I'll never be able to get it back on because I don't have the code for it. See? So the exit, on trigger exit, isn't working. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to just Control Z all this because I want to go back to how I had it. And this is the script. This is what you want to use. So if you want to go ahead and tackle this, it'd be really cool to see a few people. I know I'm pretty new YouTuber with like 500 fantastic views, but I would love to see a project or two of people coming up with obstacles and mazes with this script. I think it'd be really, really cool. Um, Fun fact, I went to Full Sail University, graduated with a bachelor's in game design, and my first attempt at a game was a maze. It like rotated and stuff, and my instructor hated it, and he didn't want to see any mazes. But you know what? You go out there and make the best maze you can. I think it's a great beginning uh, idea. It's very easy. It makes you be creative because mazes are pretty simple. So make your maze unique. Make it unique. Make it fun. Make people want to play your maze and wonder what the hell's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and show you something that I did with this script. I haven't done it yet, but it'll be 5 seconds for you and probably a half an hour for me. So here it is, final script. Um, you saw how I had it working, and just have fun. And thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoy. Okay guys, and I totally forgot to show you how to make a prefab. So what you're going to want to do is we're going to make a folder, and we're just going to call it prefabs. And I'm going to rename this trigger just to, so we know exactly what it is. Hide activate, so I'm going to know there's this trigger that hides and activates things. And you literally just drag it into the prefab folder. And now I can just drag this into the world, and we have this object wherever we want. So have fun. Alright guys, one more thing. I'm just going to slow this down real quick. Um, as you can see, because in the final part you can't tell what's really going on, these platforms disappear. so you have to jump before you get to the end of them. And I was having a very hard time with it, believe it or not. And I just wanted to have a quick note for everybody that if you're having a hard time with your own design, imagine how the player's gonna feel. Like I was getting frustrated at my own stupid level. I can only imagine how somebody else would feel playing my level. So definitely ease up, make it a little easier. Still have some complexity to it, of course, but just remember, if you're getting frustrated, everyone else is probably going to get frustrated. So you probably need to fix some things.